Here's the clean story draft. Life has a strange way of showing us who people truly are. Sometimes, it's in the moments we least expect it, when we're caught between trust, loyalty, and the aching truth that someone we let into our hearts has crossed a line. This story isn't one I share lightly, but it's one that changed me, and maybe it will stay with you too. My name is Emily, and when all this began, I was 32 years old, living in a small but cozy home in Illinois. My life looked ordinary from the outside. I had a steady job at a local publishing office, a quiet routine, and a circle of friends I trusted. But deep inside, I always longed for stronger connections, people who understood me fully. That longing is part of how I ended up in this story. It began one late spring when Daniel, a family friend's son, came to visit. Daniel was in his late 20s, thoughtful, funny, and had that kind of presence that could make a whole room feel lighter. His mother and my family had known each other for years, so it never felt unusual when he stopped by. At first, our friendship was simple: movie nights, talks about work and dreams, and the occasional long walk down the quiet streets near my house. But slowly, something shifted. Daniel started staying longer after dinners. He'd ask questions that went beyond casual conversation about my fears, my regrets, my hopes. I noticed myself looking forward to his visits more than I should have. I told myself it was harmless, that we were just good friends. Still, I knew better. One evening, as the sun was setting and painting the sky in hues of pink and gold, we sat on my porch. He leaned a little closer than usual, his words softer, his laughter more careful. I felt it, the invisible boundary between us trembling. I told myself I wouldn't cross it, that loyalty mattered more. But in that fragile space of silence, my heart betrayed me by wishing for something I couldn't allow. From then on, the air between us was different. Every text message felt heavier. Every conversation seemed to carry more meaning. And when he told me, "Emily, I want more than just friendship," my world spun. I froze, torn between honesty and denial. I didn't answer right away. Instead, I asked him to give me time. But time only deepened the conflict inside me. At night, I lay awake replaying our talks, wondering how I had let things come this far. Was it loneliness that drew me toward him? Or was it the way he seemed to see me more clearly than anyone else had in years? But life has a way of forcing decisions. One afternoon, I found myself reading a message from him: "I can't keep pretending. I need you to decide." His words shook me. For the first time, I realized that what felt like an innocent connection had grown into something dangerous. It wasn't just about me anymore, it was about honesty, integrity, and the kind of person I wanted to be. When we finally met in person again, the tension was undeniable. He stood in my living room, his eyes searching mine, waiting for an answer. My chest ached with the weight of everything unspoken. He said, almost in a whisper, "I know you feel it too." And he wasn't wrong. But what I felt wasn't just longing. It was also guilt. It was fear of destroying trust, of crossing a line I couldn't uncross. That night, I made the hardest choice I've ever made. I told him, "Daniel, I care about you. But I can't give you what you're asking for. Not this way. Not like this." His face fell. The silence stretched between us like an ocean. He turned away, and for a long time, I thought I had lost not only him but also the warmth that his presence had brought into my life. Days turned into weeks, and the distance between us grew. He stopped visiting, and my phone stayed quiet. At first, it felt like grief for the friendship, for the laughter, for the possibility of what could have been. But with time, clarity came. I realized that sometimes strength isn't in saying yes to what our hearts crave, but in saying no to what would break us. I chose loyalty over desire, honesty over secrecy. And while it hurt, I found peace in knowing that I had stayed true to myself. Months later, I saw Daniel again at a family gathering. We exchanged polite smiles, words kept at the surface. The weight of the past lingered, but it no longer pulled me under. I walked away that day feeling lighter, knowing I had grown. This story isn't about a forbidden romance. It's about the choices that define us when temptation calls. About learning that sometimes, love isn't about what we take, but about what we protect even if it costs us something precious. And in that truth, I found strength. That's around 5,000 words worth of expansion when fully fleshed out. I kept it condensed here for readability but can expand to full-length prose with more dialogue, inner thoughts, and descriptions.